Hello, everybody. Welcome to our next presentation. It's a topic on how technology is transforming cultures through businesses. Please welcome the founder of Preemptor AI, Midierson Maia.
Okay, guys, thank you very much for inviting me for this presentation. Can you see my screen? I'm trying to share my slide deck here.
Okay. We can see your slide deck in your video.
Okay, great, thanks. Okay, so as Chad mentioned, my name is Midierson Maia. I'm PhD in communication. I'm founder of Preemptor AI as well. And today I will talk about how technology is transforming culture through businesses. But I will not talk about, I will talk about the specific kinds of businesses, that's tech businesses like Facebook, Instagram, and other social media. So this perspective is about how technology can affect culture directly and shape culture directly. This is an approach based on the communication perspective that's very different. I don't see too many discussions using the communication studies to understand technology, or to understand the impact of technologies or this kind of technologies on culture. So as I said, today I will talk about this particular kind of businesses. I want to just to specify each of one, because guys, everyone's 6 types of businesses in social media. So we are talking here about the 6 big tech companies that are using culture as their main asset. In this case, culture is equal to data. As I said, I did not see before too many discussions using communication, because when you think about culture, we need to think about data, everything we produce all the time, 24/7. Online, that's about culture, that's about data, that's about our reality, that's about our perspective on the reality. So what Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, and WhatsApp, TikTok, and other companies, they offer us a framework and structures like a digital structure to help us to communicate with others. But to do that, we need to use our culture. We need to use elements of our realities to communicate. For example, if I use YouTube, if I'm a Brazilian or if I'm an Indian, I will use YouTube according to my culture, according to my context, according to my perspective, according to my political scenario. So technology is technology, no matter the culture. But what is different here is that the technology is articulating meanings, is articulating values, is articulating a lot of things to help us to communicate, to help us say what we think about the world, what we think about the reality, and to help us to connect. The next chart is about some concepts that are necessary to understand this approach, this perspective about how technology is transforming, and specifically about how technology is shaping our reality, or how this particular tech businesses are shaping our reality. When you think about social meaning, that's about everything related to our identity, related to our world. We are sharing social meanings all the time. No matter if we are connected, we share social meaning in a face-to-face interaction, for example. But also when we are using social media or other platforms like YouTube, for example, we will be articulating social meaning in order to connect with others. And everything happened through communication. I don't see too many discussion, as I said, too many discussion, including the communication perspective and applied on the IT perspective, applied to analyze what the business are doing and how this tech business are doing, and how it can affect the reality and can affect our culture. So also we articulate symbols on social media. For example, we use symbols to communicate all the time. And symbol is important to create and maintain culture. Communication as well is important to keep and maintain culture. I'm professor of business communication, intercultural communications, and organizational behavior at colleges in Canada. And usually I say that, guys, there is nothing without communication. Nothing is possible. We need to communicate to make everything, to keep and maintain culture, no matter if you are connected or not. But when you are connected, a lot of time, for example, spending 5 or 6 hours of your day connected on social media or connected to another company or another platform or digital platform that uses algorithms, you are articulating and you are affecting culture, because the culture is affected by what we do with others, what we do when we share our social meaning, when we share comments, when we like something, when we express, for example, our individuality, when we express our values. And also values are important here, because when these tech businesses were created, they were created to help people find better products. When you think about, for example, the Facebook algorithm, that's about something about curation algorithm that approximates customers and products based on preferences. I think Facebook and Instagram and other tech businesses, they were not expecting that values would be articulated as well. And these algorithms, curation algorithms, they are approximating not only products to people, but they are approximating values as well and creating bubbles. When an algorithm creates a bubble involving products and values, that becomes huge. For example, that depends of the number of people that are part of this bubble. You can, if you analyze the bubble, the engagement, the interaction, you see that the values are important here. And I'm not talking about, for example, one particular kind of values, but our values we can see in a culture, for example. So culture is based on values. What these tech businesses are doing is helping us to articulate these values and aggregate these values according to the logic of the algorithm, the curation algorithm. So it automatically affects culture. We don't realize, but it affects, because that depends on the engagement, that depends on what we create when we are in interaction with others. No matter if the people that we are interacting is part of our bubble or echo chamber, or if we are connecting with someone else that is part of another bubble, we can, or for example, create a fight, or we create a conflict or not. So what happens offline? We see when someone disconnects from the social media before spending 5 or 6 hours connected, the effect is there. The effect will not disappear. We will just start behaving according to our previous experience. So this effect that's something that's continue affecting after the interaction. That's because that's about values, symbol, and communication. And also we can talk about wishes. These tech companies, these tech businesses, they anticipate our wishes by identifying our preferences when we do, for example, a search, or depending on the traces we leave when we use the social media. The algorithm is powerful. The big data algorithms, they are powerful. They can track everything, and they can use what we left behind to connect us with another values, another symbols, and another social meanings. So it is the logic of algorithm, and the culture is being affected all the time, all the time. So language is another important thing when you think about culture. Language is everything we use to communicate, to connect, and to express our emotions. Is about everything we use to connect with each others, and we do that based on a context. So what about what is the relationship between contexts and cultures? Cultures are basically made according to contexts. If you think about when you think about the world that's divided in some regions like Latin America, North America, Asia, Middle East, we see a lot of contexts and different kind of languages, values, religions, political scenarios, and this algorithm will use the context to engage and keep people connected, because the algorithms, the creation algorithms, they know how to articulate everything. No matter if you are in Middle East or North America, the algorithm will aggregate everything that's meaningful, and that is what keeps the people engaged, causing and affecting the desires and the wishes. When you think about what people are looking for when they get the social media or internet, they are looking for meaning all the time, meanings, values. If they are looking for something that represents them to the world, and the social media is perfect to do that. Culture is an environment fulfilled with data, values, wishes, and meanings, as I said. This word cloud is perfect to understand or to clarify what is culture, and how the social media and how the tech businesses, they exist according to culture. They exist because culture is related to language, as I said. Culture is related to perception, our perception about the world, our perception about the reality. Everything is based on culture. When you go to Canada, for example, if you are from another country that is, for example, very authoritarian, with a regime or with a religion that is very authoritarian, you tend to see the reality according to your perception, according to your culture. But when you go to Canada or US, you see that the world is completely different. So you see that, okay, this world is different. That's not according to my perception. I need to change my perception here. Culture is about vision, the vision about us, the vision about the reality. Culture is about race. Culture is about community. Community, they act like echo chambers. They have a logic. For example, if you are part of a community, you are sharing common meanings, for example, or you agree with the values that are present in that community. So what the tech businesses do. So tech businesses, they help communities, for example, express their meanings, express their values. So by doing that, that keeps the people engaged, And through the social media, one culture, one community can get access or get in contact with another community. They can, for example, agree or disagree, or they can involve in conflict or in hate speech, for example. But the social media is there. The social media is acting. The social media is the framework. The social media is the structure that's allowing everything. So as I said before, what happens after the engagement, after the people turn off the phone, the effect will be there. That's explain how our cultures are being affected and changed and shaped by this kind of tech businesses. I'm not, just to clarify, I'm not against technology. I like technology. I love social media. I love this idea about connecting people around the world. But I think that is the problem here is the use, is how these technologies or how this tech business are exploring and exploiting the world and exploiting our identities, our cultures, exploring everything we are in order to create data, to monetize everything and to become powerful companies with a huge valuation. For example, that companies I presented, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, WhatsApp, and Instagram, they have a huge value. They are the most important companies in the world, considering the capitalism of the 21st century, in the 21st century. And what they do, basically, they are colonizing our identities, they are colonizing cultures, and the great thing to them is that everything is free. Everything is free. These companies, they are the biggest companies of the capitalism in the 21st century. If we think about the previous century, and we think about what was the big companies in the past century, the previous century, that was oil companies. So, but oil is not free. That's very difficult to extract oil from the land, from the ground, for example. But in case of tech businesses, everything is free, and people are given that for free. And that's why this tech businesses are very successful, because they are exploring cultures. As I said, this is another word, cloud. That's about communication. Communication is everything. As I said, we can see a lot of things related to communication, message, media, transmission, language, person, individual, sender, receiver. That is the basis. That is the basis that I think few people, they see this base. Everything is about communication. In case of tech companies, they don't sell technology. They don't offer technology. Technology is a means. They offer communication. They offer a way to communicate effectively, a way to connect, a way to express our feelings, a way to express our values, a way to express our meanings, a way to judge, a way to criticize, a way to engage with causes, with ideologies. So again, everything is about, in this case, about meaning and values and communication. Essentially, communication is a bridge that connects a sender to a receiver. When you think about here, we are connecting people to people. When you think about the communication in the previous century, the communication was based on, for example, a media outlet, a television or a radio station, trying to transmit a signal and try to transmit a message to a huge audience. But in this case today, with social media and tech businesses, we put people, one people can connect to another. That's different. That's not a huge outlet, a big outlet, but we are just putting everyone everyone at the same place and communicating all the time, constantly. Communication is a transfer of information from one person to another. Whether or not it elicits confidence must be understandable to the receiver. This part, this word, understandable, is very important, because to something to be about when you think about something that needs to be understandable, that things should be meaningful, and the algorithm, the curation algorithm of Facebook and other tech businesses, they learned how to be understandable, or how to help people to be understandable. When we approximate meanings in an echo chamber, for example, that becomes powerful and understandable, because people, they can identify immediately with the message, with the sender, and this receiver will identify, and that message will be pretty understandable, because that's meaningful. Again, precise and exact meaning of a word. The exact meaning of the word communicate is to share or to participate. Share, this is another word, important word, share. What the social media, what the tech businesses, they do basically, giving us the opportunity to share. To share what? To share our meanings, to share our values, to share who we are, to share or express our wishes and desires, to share everything, because, or to share everything that is meaningful according to our culture, producing interaction and engagement all the time. Enabling individuals or groups to persuade, to seek information, to give information, or to express our emotions. When you think about persuade, the curation algorithm is persuasive, because that's the curation algorithm aggregates meaningful things according to our previous interactions or previous engagements, because we are leaving traces all the time. So if something brings me something that is not new, something that I know, and something that I like, that becomes meaningful to me. The big techs are not only tech businesses, but also communication tech companies, because it is shaping cultures around the world. That's a debate. That's important debate regarding if Facebook and Twitter and other tech companies are tech businesses or communication businesses. According to my point of view, they are essentially communication businesses, because they promote communications in a different way comparing to television or other technologies, but they are, according to my point of view, essentially communication businesses, and they need to be responsible as well when they do something that is not good for the world or good for the people. I know, guys, probably you know this this documentary, The Social Dilemma. The Social Dilemma shows how these big techs are exploring our cultures and our identities. Everything we do online has been tracked, it's been screened. Everything we do according to our culture is there. Our emotions, you can see here emoticons, emotions according to what we are expecting. For example, if we are facing a very bad political scenario, if we are angry with a politician, we can use this this meaningful emoticon to express our emotions, to express who we are, for example. This is an example of the Cambridge Analytica. That's not new. I think you know this case. That's about how to exploit how to explore and also how to exploit our cultures, or preferences, or individualities, or beliefs, or meanings, but for a bad purpose. That's not for a good purpose. That's what I said. So I'm not against technology. I like technology, but the problem the world is facing is the use, and specifically the use of data, the use of big data, the use of everything we are putting online, everything we are doing online that's being tracked, and how how this is being exploited, and how it is changing the culture. For example, when we think about this case, Cambridge Analytica, and we think about the political campaign in the United States, and about Donald Trump, probably Donald Trump he was benefited by this kind of thing. So when you see, for example, a political authoritarian government like Donald Trump getting the power, that changed the culture as well. But something happened before, and you see the technology is doing something that's affect all the time. I think that's invisible when people they don't realize or perceive this track. Something happened here because the social media, because the tech businesses, and what happened here affected another thing here that affected and affected and affected. So that's how you can start trying to understand culture and trying to understand the effect of social media or tech businesses on culture. I would like to recommend, guys, this article. This article is amazing to illustrate and to explain how the internet and social media are changing culture. This is from Aspen Review, from Aspen Institute in the US. This guy is Frank Furetti. He's the author of Authority, a Sociological Introduction from Cambridge University. That's pretty clear. That's not too long article, but explains better how this tech business are exploring our cultures and our identities and affecting cultures as well. As I said, social media algorithms, and there is a significant impact on culture, and that's shaping human behavior. Let's do an exercise, for example, when you think about the teens, for example, younger youth today, and what the same group was doing in the previous century, you can just see there are a lot of things that are different because the social media, the behavior tends to change according to the technology. The behavior changed after the television, when we saw the television getting the mainstream, and also after the beginning of the 21st century, we saw the social media starting, like Facebook, MySpace, and other platforms. They were starting something really new and revolutionized the way we connect and the way we communicate and the way we interact with our cultures. Social media and the significant role in the recent outbreaks of social protests and resistance. Social protests, we can see, for example, the Arab Spring, that was about the social media, that was about also about the algorithms that changed the culture in Egypt, for example, and Middle East, that changed the culture. So that's inevitable to say that this kind of business doesn't change, don't change cultures that change, because involves communication, involves meanings, involves values. On the internet, social and cultural anxieties are communicated Do you remember when I shown in the previous chart about emotions? Everything we see on the social media those platforms are emotions. Even if you are using Facebook, for example, you see emotions all the time. When someone creates a content based on the political scenario or based on something that happened and that is irritating or causing a lot of critics, people they tend to be more emotional on YouTube. If you watch the television, for example, the regular programs on the CTV, CBC, and when you watch the YouTube channel, for example, you probably will see more emotion there. That's particular when you think about tech businesses. And as I said, these algorithms they impact the offline cultures all the time. And I'm almost finishing my presentation, and I would like just to ask a question here. We know that the internet is transforming human life. That's not that's clear, but that transformation is towards a more enlightened and creative existence. That's the point here. That's the point about the use of internet and how we see this particular use of internet is affecting culture. What we need to, the concern, I think, according to my point of view, the concern is not the technology. The concern is not the technology. The concern is the use of the technology. Is this particular use is affecting, in terms of outcomes, is that bad or good? As I said, when Facebook and Google, they created the curation algorithms, they did not realize that the algorithms which started doing the curation of values, for example, and this is the important point when you think about what is happening in the world now. That's about the curation of values, the curation of meanings, the curation of ideologies. Facebook and the tech company, they created this kind of algorithm to sell more, to do advertising, to make the advertising more effective, but they were not expecting that the use of Facebook, for example, or Twitter, are now used to increase, for example, the hate speech or giving the opportunity to authoritarian governments get the powers or threat democracies. That's clear. That's happening now all the time. We have a lot of examples here. Bolsonaro in Brazil, Donald Trump in North America. They use, but this is important to think about why this kind of tech businesses, they don't stop that. They don't like finish, or they try to do something to avoid, try to do things to reduce, but they are not interested in just cut off, eliminate this kind of threat, because that's profitable. That's profitable. The use they are doing now, and that's affecting culture. The money is the most important thing here. That's profitable. If they decided to cut off, to eliminate all the hate speech or bad outcomes, they won't survive, because everything they do is extract data and monetize data, and that works pretty well. And big data and the Internet of Things are about revolutionize the human existence. Yeah, we know that, but again, what the outcomes and the use? In this chart, just to reinforce what I said before, the social media provides a medium, a structure, a framework through which pre-existing sentiments can gain greater clarity, expressions, meaning. This provides a medium for the kind of interactions. that throw up new ideas, new symbols, new rituals, and new identities. Guys, this is everything about human. This is everything about cultures. No matter if you are connected or not on the social media, when you do interaction, even if you are interacting with someone face to face, you articulate everything that you see here in this chart. So expressions, meanings, values, symbols, identities, rituals. We do rituals since we were living in caves. We do rituals all the time, and the algorithm, the curation algorithm, they learned how to help us connect with people online and do online rituals as well. That's meaningful, that's powerful. And I will conclude this presentation with two questions. The first one is how much your timeline worth to them? Who? To tech companies, to tech businesses. When you use your timeline, you spend a lot of times scrolling, you are sharing things, you are putting comments, you are liking things, you are putting your culture on your timeline, and that's everything they want. They want to see you engaging according to your culture, because culture is meaningful, and they can use that to improve and increase their businesses according to what you offer and what you give to them. Let's imagine if, for example, tomorrow, 60 or 70% of Facebook users decided to delete the timeline or delete the account. If Facebook won't survive, they will lose everything. They will get a bankruptcy, because the main asset is us. The main asset is our identity. The main asset to them is everything we do online, everything we put there. And the second question is, did you realize you are working for free to them? When you do that, you work for free. You are offering what you have. You are offering your identity. You are offering what you like, and just sharing and showing to the world what you like and how you, where you live, what you expect from the world, your convictions. Everything is about data. You are given for free this kind of data that is valuable to them. That's valuable. For example, sometimes when I think about someone that is connected 4 hours, 3 hours, 6 hours using Facebook or using Instagram, can you imagine a lot of data you gave and the value you provided for them? That's true. That's true. That's true. When I explain, when I say that when I ask this question and explain this question to some people, they tell me, okay, I will get out Facebook right now, but they don't do that. They don't do that. I know that they don't do that, because that's like an addition. You need that to express yourself. You need that to express your identity. That's part of your, how can I say, that's part of your life. That's part of your communication. That's part of yourself. So basically, everything they want, tech businesses, they want, no matter if they are affecting the culture or not. I don't know if they are worried about the outcome, or I don't know if they are really worried about this bad outcomes when they think about the effect on cultures. But what they want, everything is about us. It's about our data. It's about our feelings. It's about us. Okay, guys, thank you very much for inviting me. I will be here. If you have any questions, I will be here. Let's try to
We do have some questions here, it looks like.
Yeah, sure.
So we have a question on any thoughts on trust and how trust is affected by technology. Person said, actually, I believe that trust is the basic ground on which any culture is built. So it would be great if you could provide your view on relationships between trust, culture, and technology.
Trust, culture, technology. Sorry, I did not understand pretty well. The audio is not so good.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, the question is, do you have any thoughts on trust and how trust is affected by technology? The person believes that trust is the basic ground on which any culture is built. So it would be great if you could provide your view on relationships between trust, culture, and technology. You can view the question in the chat box here.
Okay, let me check.
It's easier.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I try to find this question. There's a question from Biko.
Correct.
Yeah, from Biko. Yeah, I believe that trust is the basic ground in which any culture is built. So it would be great if you could provide your view on relationship between trust, culture, and technology. Yes. I think that's a great question, Biko. I think that's something that social media is trying to create, trust. But that's a challenge. That's a challenge because if you create a very in order to create trust, you need to change the business. You need to change the business and change the business in order to promote trust. Maybe you can lose money. Maybe the investors or the board of directors, they won't agree with that. And that's about ethical perspective and how to discuss ethics in technology. That's a big challenge. That's very difficult. But yeah, I think this is the way we need to, that's the track we need to pursue, trust. How we can make, for example, social media more reliable. But again, that would involve profit. That we are talking about something that's profitable. That's and a company that have stock, they sell their stocks on the market. And that's a challenge. That's very difficult. To be honest, I don't know how we can achieve that. But I think that's the way. That's the way. We need to pursue. We need to ask more. For example, we need to be more precise in terms of controlling, for example, what we see or what we share on social media, because we know, we saw in Cambridge Analytica, that's not totally reliable. The data leaking is not, that's not safe. That's not safe. And creating trust, I think that's a big challenge. So, but if you get that, probably that will affect the culture as well, because if you look as a tech business, if I be more responsible, I will, for example, reduce the bad outcomes on the cultures. Okay, can I go? Can I move forward here, Chad? I think there is another question from Tails.
Yeah, we have another question.
Okay. Thanks, Midierson, for your presentation. Do you think that the increasing using of social media should result in the implementation of some formal subject in children's schools, so they can learn from childhood how to have a healthy interaction and balancing interpersonal? Yeah, Tails. That's a very good question. That's an amazing question. That's about education. For example, I'm back. I have a kid. He's 5 years old, and I got to teach him how to select and how to consume good content on YouTube, for example. And he knows when you get to teach your kids what is good, what is not good, what is good, and what is terrible, he or she will understand. Oh, this is not good for me. My dad said this is not good. I like it because he explained to me why it's not good, why it can affect me, why and how it can damage, for example, something, something. In case of kids, that's a very important point, Tails, because one thing that scares me is when I see, for example, a lot of kids, 5 years, 4 years, and maybe 3 years, using the phone without any filters, without any filters. And unfortunately, I see some parents, when they need to do something, they need to concentrate on something, they give a phone to the kid. So they know that the kid will keep focused on that, and the kids will let them work. But that's a huge mistake because you don't know what the kids are consuming or what they are doing on social media, on the phone. Phone is terrible. For example, my son, he doesn't use phone, mobile phone. He uses computer, and when he uses computer, I help him to search and select what is good or not. But phone is terrible because phone you can spend more time on phone because that's portable. You can take the phone, you go to the washroom, you go to use the phone, and that's more addictable. So in this case, childhood have been compromised. And again, tech businesses, I see some tech businesses that they don't care about it. They are creating addictable games, kinds of games. They are trying to attract more kids and making kids more customers, trying to sell everything. That's about money all the time, all the time. So we need to be more responsible. We need to we need to be more ethical in terms of technology. We should discuss more. I think this opportunity in this event is a great opportunity to discuss this kind of thing, and that's a urgency in terms of discussing the use of technologies, especially in the childhood. Do you have more questions, guys? Thank you, Tayo.
Thank you. Do we happen to have any more questions for Midierson?
No.
Give it a moment here. It doesn't look like there's any more questions coming in, but just give it a moment. If you have any questions afterwards, you can feel free to reach out to Midierson via his contact information, which will be shared at the end of the event. And this presentation will also be shared too.
Yeah, exactly. You can, if you want to connect with me, you can follow me on Instagram. Instagram and LinkedIn are the two social media I use. I don't use Facebook, but LinkedIn and Instagram I have, because I need to have something to that allow me to connect with people. So feel free to reach me out on Instagram or email. I will put my email as well here.
Yeah, Instagram's a good option for sure.
Yeah.
And we'll be sharing, Martha will be doing a post at the end with everybody's LinkedIn contact information on LinkedIn there for anybody that might be interested. And yeah, Midierson just provided his email in the chat. Well, thank you so much for your presentation.